Hey everyone, and welcome to YarnGasm. I'm Kristen, and this is episode 158. If you are a new viewer, thanks so much for checking out my podcast. I hope you enjoy it. And if you are a returning viewer, thanks so much for coming back. Thanks for taking a little time out of your week to chat about knitting, spinning, and hand-dyeing yarn with me. And yes, so I guess the big announcement this week is, as of yesterday, July 28th, it was YarnGasm's 7th blog anniversary or blogiversary. So that was kind of, I was just like, wow, it's been 7 years since I started my blog. I don't think it was called YarnGasm at the time. I started out as blogging before I started podcasting. So, but even still, I think after 7 years of doing this, it's kind of awesome. It's been really, as I say every year, I'm just so excited to see how it's evolved since I first started blogging. And I've definitely, not to sound too cliche or wax poetic, but I feel like I've come a long way. I feel like, from blogging to podcasting to starting my own yarn business, it's been so fun. And all the people, oh my goodness, and all the people that I've met and become friends with through blogging and podcasting and doing the whole yarn thing, it's just been a really, really fun ride. And I just want to say thank you to everybody who's been supporting me and just, thank you for watching. And, if it wasn't for you guys, as I say, there would be no reason for me doing this. I would just be talking to a wall and my cat and whoever else cares to listen to me talk about knitting. So anyway, so I guess I just want to say, thank you to everybody who's been sticking with me and watching and enjoying the podcast. And I'm just, I love the community that has been created around what I've been doing. So yeah, okay. So, and that said, I have lots of knitting to talk about, as I always do. So I'm going to keep it down to a short episode because I got a late start today. We had the cable guy come over and I lost a couple of hours while they were sorting things out with the internet. And I still have a lot of work to do. I've got some dyeing, and only because I need to turn the air conditioner on. If I were to turn it on now, the audio would be horrible. So, yeah, anyway, but I am knitting. I didn't do a lot of knitting, but I did work a lot on my verdure shawl. And it's like, it feels like it's going quickly, but at the same time, it's not. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but it's an applied border that I'm working on. And as you know, here it is. So you can just see for yourselves. So I've just been watching a lot of podcasts and working on this, and it's going. Every every applied border pattern repeat flies. Like I can do maybe like 2 repeats in 15 minutes, but at the same time, it's here's where I am, and then I have all this left to do. So yeah, but it's enjoyable. So I have no complaints about it. It's a lovely pattern. It's by Isabel of the Fluffy Fibers podcast. As I mention every week, you should totally check out her podcast. She's wonderful. She's a wonderful pattern designer, sewer, just a lovely person all around. I can't say enough nice things about her. And her pattern, this one is beautiful. Someone commented on my Instagram photo and they said it's the perfect, I think it was Saratoga Knitting, so if you're watching, yeah. She said it's the perfect summer pattern, and I could not agree more. And this is being knit on my hand-dyed yarn, Voolenvine yarns on the blitzed base, which has a lot of stellina in here, and it's the succulents colorway. And succulents are plants. You are not familiar, they're super easy to take care of. So if you're not a plant person, you have a black thumb, go for succulents. Super easy. Oh, and I dropped a stitch. So anyway, okay, so sorry about that. I dropped a few stitches and I had to rescue them. But yes, so I'm knitting these on my US size 6 4mm carbons, interchangeables, and I love working with them. So yeah, and they're staying in my Fluffy Fibers project bag, which I really, really love. I love the drawstring. It just closes like that. So really lovely. Again, made by Isabel. So yay, there's that. And then the other thing that I wanted to work on this past week was my Summer in Kansas shawl. I cast it on, I made a little headway on it, and then I fell in love with the yarn that I was using, and so I ordered more from Jimmy Bean's Wool. And here, I have it over there, so I'm not going to get it, but this is the yarn that I'm using, Isagere. It's alpaca 2 number 7s, and I ordered from Jimmy Bean's Wool, and the photo looked, see, again, this is why yarn companies really need to assign their colorways creative names, because numbers don't cut it. Because I ordered the wrong yarn. It came in the mail. I ordered 3 new skeins, and the brown was off. And I realized this is 7S apparently, and the one I ordered is 8S. So yeah, I had to send it back. And me and Dennis are actually going up to Cape Cod this next week, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But yes, while I'm there, I might as well just pick up some more yarn from the yarn shop that I picked up the other yarn from. So I guess great timing. So I sent that yarn back, and I'm gonna go make a pit stop at a great yarn in, where is it, Chatham, and pick up some more yarn. Hopefully they still have some in stock, and I think they will. But yeah, it's 50% alpaca and 50% wool. And really lovely yarn. I wish I had the skein with me, but it's all the way over there, and I'm hooked up to a microphone, and I don't want the whole thing to come tumbling down. So if you are curious, just refer back to the last episode, and I will try and create a project page for that. Because I have been horrible at creating project pages for my projects lately. I don't know why. I don't know why that is. I used to be so adamant about that, and I just kind of slipped. So I've got to create project pages for all my projects. And as you know, I've been playing around with creating project bags, sewing away, and this is a prototype. So this is mine. I'm not going to be selling this in the shop, but I got this amazing unicorn fabric, and I made this bag. It has a handle, red zipper, just like my yarn. You know, if you've ever purchased my yarn, it comes with a red string. That's kind of like my branding thing, and I thought, you know, stay in line with that and go with a red zipper. But anyway, how freaking awesome is this fabric? I ordered maybe 2 yards of it. I don't know why. I don't know what I'm not going to be making a dress out of it, obviously, but I want to make all the things with this fabric because, you guys, unicorns. I have a sick obsession with them. But anyway, in this bag, and of course I had to get like a little unicorn progress keeper for it. So I like I do. So here's my hand-dyed, I finally cast on a pair of socks, and this is my hand-dyed fairy hair on Volca, which is a merino nylon cashmere, and it's super soft. And I realized, as I said last week, I've been meaning to knit with this colorway, and I had a skein, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll just knit a pair of socks with it. And I feel like this should be taboo. I should not be knitting socks with, and many of you have commented on it, like, you know, how could you knit socks with such lovely wool? And I was like, well, you know what? I've been meaning to kind of revamp my my sock pattern, my favorite sock pattern that's available for free, so I will link to that in the show notes. And I want to redo the photos because I'm not happy with them, and I want to kind of tweak it a little bit. I want to add some more sizing to it and just overall revamp the pattern visually and content-wise, and including adding a new photo of socks. So this will be on the cover. These socks will be the model on the front of the pattern. So I figured, why not use some nice luxury sock yarn, you know, to grace the cover of the pattern. Anyway, so here's where I am. I'm using my favorite sock pattern is cuff down, 1x1 ribbing. I think it could be either way, 1x1 ribbing or 2x2 ribbing, whatever your preference. It's cuff down, and then I'm doing a reinforced heel flap, and then I'm going to do a heel turn. And it's been a while since I knit this. I've been having such a love affair with the Fish Lips Kiss heel pattern. I've been knitting all my socks with that, and I finally decided it's time to just kind of mix things up a little bit. So yeah, these will be coming with me to Cape Cod, and yeah, it's just really lovely yarn. And it's been living in my little unicorn project bag with pink cloud lining. Yeah, so You've got to have pink cloud lining with unicorns. My goodness. Never too old for this stuff, my friends. Never, never too old. So I don't think I ever grew up, really. But anyway, that is all that I've had time to work on this past week. I've done a little spinning, a lot of spinning actually. I finished spinning drop spindling my hobbledehoy fiber, this little purple bit of hand spun. I really didn't, this was such kind of like a leisurely spin that I really didn't pay too much attention to consistency at all, but it's going in my sock blanket, which I have not worked on. I have not worked on my sock blanket. What is up with that? Terrible. Anyway, it's going in my sock blanket, and again, this is hobbledehoy. And then I picked up some gourmet stash that I've had languishing in my stash for quite some time. Her Hedwig colorway, which I purchased during the winter. I think it was one of her Black Friday sales. Anyway, I have all these fuzzlings in the same colorway, and I decided to spin up they are called Fibery Tribbles. Fuzzlings is fondant fiber, Fibery Tribbles is gourmet stash, and batlings are hobbledehoy. So many names for these things. It's hard to keep track sometimes. But this is a Fibery Tribble, gourmet stash in her Hedwig colorway, which strangely reminds me of if you watch I cannot talk today. Oh wow, Kristen, I have not had any caffeine today. The Fluffy Fibers podcast, if you watch it, you know Isabel has an adorable cat named Petit Mignon, and this color totally reminds me of Petite Mignon, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Like her coloring and everything. So yeah, I've just been having a lot of fun spindling on that. I don't know what it will be. I don't know. I have maybe like 5 more Fibery Tribbles to work through. So I've been having fun with that, and that is on my Golding spindle. Yeah. So, and the other thing, I finished the 2 ounces of my summer sock spackle fiber. I've been spinning again. This is wonderful. I love it. So yeah, anyway, I finished 1 bobbin of the, again, Gourmet Stash, her Broken Ornaments colorway. And the magenta and purple are all under there. So I have another 2 ounces of the braid to go. And that fiber, what do I do with all my fiber? It's just everywhere. Anyway, oh, it's over here. Yeah, okay. So disorganized. Okay. So here's that, and then I have the rest of this to spin up on another bobbin, and then I'm going to 2-ply it. And if you haven't joined the Summer Sock Spackle, definitely check it out. There's a thread in the YarnGasm Ravelry group. Everyone is posting in there all their amazing, wonderful hand spun that they're going to knit into socks. And some of you guys are already done spinning, which is amazing. And, you know, definitely very, very inspiring. So check it out, join in. It started July 1st and it's going all the way until September 1st. So there will be prizes, there will be giveaways. If you have a giveaway that you would like to donate to the Spackle, PM me on Ravelry. Just be sure to title the subject line Sock Spackle Giveaway Donation or something, so I know that it is what it is. So that is it. I'm going to move on to Ask Away because we have some questions in there. So I'm going to pick 2. Fisher Road asks on Ravelry, she asks, "Hey Kristen, do you have any languishing whips that you would like to eventually finish?" For those of you who are not familiar with whips, I feel like I should just explain this. WIPS is works in progress. So I do have languishing whips that I would love to finish. My Vivid blanket, which I've started, I don't know how long ago, but it's out of Knit Picks, Gloss, which is a silky, I think it's a superwash and silk blend. It's really soft. I have a mauve in there. I have a dark gray and a light gray that I'm working in. Each of the squares are going to be, and I would really love to finish that eventually, but as most blanket projects go, they're so big and epic, it's kind of hard to follow through on them. I find on my end it's hard to follow through on them, especially if it's all in one color, or I'm working with 3 colors, so I just find it a little tedious, and it's something that I'm going to have to come back to when the mojo to work on it comes back, if that makes any sense. So yeah, and then the other project that's kind of languishing in my stash is Dennis's sweater. That is never getting finished. I've totally fallen out of love with it. It's the Ranger cardigan by Brooklyn Tweed. A lovely pattern. It looks beautiful, but I don't know. I've fallen out of love working with it. I don't know. So yeah, but maybe. I still have it on the needles. I still have the yarn. Worst case scenario, I just frog it and choose a totally different pattern. But I've come so far on it. It's just, the man's got big broad arms, and it's taking forever to do all the short rows and the raglan decreases, and then I have to knit the button band, or install the zipper. I forget what it has, but anyway. So yeah, I think those are the main projects that I'm working on that I want to finish. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. Stacy, yes, Fisher Road is Stacy. Okay, so I hope that answers your question, Stacy. And yes, if you want to just get it out there in the YarnGasm Ravelry thread, what projects, maybe we can do a knit along. That would be really nice, a knit along at some point to finish some languishing projects. Let me know what you think, and maybe we can make it happen. Because mainly I would love to finish my Vivid blanket. That would be nice. So, okay, the next question is from KV on Ravelry. She says, I'm currently knitting my first pair of socks, and I have noticed you knit a lot of socks. What type of cast-on do you like to use? Okay, so, well, first of all, congrats on knitting your first pair of socks. That's awesome, and I'm so glad that you're having fun with it. I hope you're having fun with it. As I mentioned, my favorite way to knit a sock is cuff down, and for that, I generally use, or always use, a long tail cast on. That's where you draw out like a long string of yarn and cast on that way. I don't know if anybody has any other methods of casting on socks for cuff down. Feel free to share that as well in the YarnGasm Ravelry thread for this episode. So yeah, I'd be curious to know what you guys like to use. And I know for toe up, a lot of people use a Turkish cast on for the toe up socks, and for the bind off they use I think it's Jessica's surprisingly stretchy bind off. I don't know if it's Jess, or I could be totally wrong, but links in the show notes. A lot of people like to use that to bind off, because when you're binding off especially for a ribbed cuff, that a normal general bind off won't be as stretchy. So they use it's a Knitty article, and there are plenty of YouTube tutorials for it, so feel free to check that out. They explain how to make it stretchy so it's not so stiff. So yeah, I hope that answers your question as well. And as always, if you have any questions that you would like me to answer on the podcast, be it knitting, spinning, hand dyeing, life questions, as Laura from A Dyer's Notebook put it, within reason, happy to answer some of those on here. So yeah, with that said, I am going to move on to shop update. So those of you who are not interested, have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, and thank you so much for spending some time with me. And yeah, but otherwise, I'm going to have a shop update tomorrow at same time, same bat time, same bat channel, Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it will be a small shop update. I really didn't get as much dyeing done this week as I would have liked to, only because I had a lot of custom orders and it was hot in my kitchen. There was only so much time that I could spend standing over the stove. And we're going to, next year, we're going to install an air conditioner, a split unit system, because right now it's just not possible. There's only one window in our kitchen and it's right over the stove. So that would not work at all. So the only way to do that would be to put a split system over the door in our kitchen. So you can imagine it's been really, really hot this past week. Hopefully it'll be cooler next week and I can get some more dyeing done. But I will have a shop update. I will have yarn to show you guys. So just to give you a little sneak peek, I will have some Afterglow, which has been a really surprisingly popular colorway. It's this really lovely mauve, like a brownish mauve with like these really pretty blue, sea blue undertones to it. This is on Volca. And then I will have Enjoy the Silence on Smitten DK and as well as Volca and Blitzed. So it's been a while since I dyed up this colorway. And the way I decide which colorways I'm going to dye up, it's a mix, but mainly I base it on custom orders. So whenever somebody puts in a custom order with me, they may only want like one skein of Enjoy the Silence, for example. And then I'm like, well, you know, since I'm already dyeing it up, I might as well just dye up some more for the shop. And generally these are colors that are very popular to begin with. So, you know, I know that you guys will want them as well, or what have you. So, but yes, I will have some Enjoy the Silence in the shop. I will have some Water Sprites in the shop on Blitzed. And I will have some Succulents on Blitzed. I will also have some Mexican Hot Chocolate. It's my favorite red. It's not like in your face red. And yeah, it's just a really, really lovely red that I'm smitten with. And I will have Outlander, as usual, but, you know, this is the first time that I've ever reskeined Outlander. I've never reskeined it before because I was afraid the colors would look too jumbly but no, I mean, this is exactly how it knits up, and I was really psyched to see that. I don't know why I was afraid to, you know, reskein it or whatever. It's not like I was afraid that it would look horrible or anything like that. I kind of liked it in the, skein, unreskeined. It just looked nice that way, but it looks really cool like this as well. So I don't know, maybe I'll start reskeining them. Yeah, and the reason why, you know, it depends. Like sometimes I'll reskein yarn, and sometimes I won't, depending how I like the way it looks in a skein. Or sometimes the yarn just gets in a tangled mess, and I have to make it all neat again. So hence all the little reskeining doodads behind me. But yeah, so I really like the way this turned out. I will have some of that. And then, of course, I will have fairy hair. And I think I'm going to be doing some more dyeing today. So there will be some more colorways in there. I think I'm going to be doing some more Enjoy the Silence, and whatever else strikes my fancy. I haven't decided yet, but so yeah, and just FYI, there will be no shop update next Friday, only because me and Dennis are going away on vacation. We're going to Cape Cod from Saturday through, I think we will be back by Thursday. So just FYI, no shop update next week, and any orders placed tomorrow will not ship until we get back. So I apologize for any delay. Thank you so much for your patience, but dyers need vacations too, so that's just how it's got to go. But yes, thank you for, you know, if you do place an order tomorrow, thank you so much for waiting. I do try to get orders out as soon as possible, generally. Just FYI, on a normal update week, orders placed on Fridays generally ship Monday through Wednesday. So I try to get everything out as soon as I can. It would just drive me batty to try and get every single order out in one whole day. And I have the post office come to my house to pick up all the packages, so everything gets shipped out together. So just for your own knowledge, if you place an order, that's how it goes. So yeah, other than that, I just received some badges or buttons in the mail for swag for my shop. So these will be included in every order, while supplies last, obviously. I ordered a bunch, but some Voolenvine yarns, buttons, or badges, depending where you live. So yeah, I'm really excited about these. They're fun. I know a lot of people like having them to put on their project bags and what have you. So these will be going out while supplies last, free of charge. They will be included in every package. So yeah, other than that, that's all I can think about this week. Otherwise, blather. I'm not going to do Kristen's makeup bag this week, so there weren't many questions in there. So, again, if you're curious about makeup or whatever, there's a thread in the YarnGasm Ravelry group. Leave your questions there. Happy to answer them. Otherwise, blatherwise, yeah, vacation. That's in our future. Lots of lobster. We're bringing the cat. We're bringing Bella because it's just way too long. I know it kills me to keep her in a carrier for about 5 hours. But I prefer to just have her with. She sleeps throughout the day anyway. She doesn't really, she's a lazy cat. But anyway, I don't know, for my own sanity, I would rather have her with us, just so she has people around her and fresh food, fresh water, yeah. And we brought her up there 2 years ago. We brought her up with us, and she was totally fine. She loved it. The car ride up, she was a little not too happy about that, but I think on the way back she was fine. She slept. Talking about her like she's my own kid. But anyway, she's my baby. So yeah, we will be bringing her with, and yeah, just looking forward to relaxing, getting some knitting done. I'm actually going to miss sewing a little bit. I kind of want to bring my sewing machine with too, but I don't know, that might be a little much. So yeah, I can't wait to just kick back and enjoy. So hopefully you guys are staying cool as well. I need to turn on the AC, otherwise I'm going to eat lunch. It's lunchtime, as it usually is when I'm done podcasting. So, okay, I'm babbling on way too much. And that said, hope you all are staying cool, happy knitting, and I will see you next time. And I will try and podcast from Cape Cod, so we'll see how that goes. But anyway, happy knitting. Bye. La, 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 la.